Ooh, shake your neighbor, 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 neighbor. God bless you real good. 'Cause there is faith.
All right, signing out. We're having our breakfast at the location producing Man Overboard.
You won't leave the same way you came. This is true. For the Lord is in the midst of you. Show love to your neighbor. It's all about the Savior. For the Lord is in the midst of you.
Speak!
So be quiet. Since we sledge for take one, take us close up from top. Since B, Francis close up from top, take one.
Hold on. Action, Tega. I need to see you walk on that page. Page is moving. You're going from page to page. Action, Francis.
Tega, you should have just seen him.
I'm busy. The Total Man's conference is rounding up tomorrow and I need to finish my preparations.
He was all the time looking at me like he knew I was lying.
I told you to tell him I'm busy. That's not a lie.
Tega, he asked me whether you were home or not. Not what you were doing.
Francis, you need to be more strategic.
This is not about strategy, Tega. This is not about strategy. Major asked me some questions. He seems to know things, Tega. Please see him.
That Major, the man just won't give up. And times are changing. My schedule is a lot tighter now. The man is always looking for attention, like a baby.
Tega, that's your spiritual father you're talking about.
At some point, Francis.
Come.
For him. Up.
Make up, fan them.
Please. Don't scroll my content. Yes, stand into shot.
Stand into shot. Yes, stand into shot. Roll.
No. Pick up and
Action. Man Overboard was a very peculiar experience. I worked with a core of talent that I hadn't had the privilege of working with before. But I was pleasantly surprised at the creative abilities that they possessed. The project started rather slowly when we met as 45 plus, which is of course those who graduated from ECU 45, which is a drama subgroup, and then the graduate members are called 45 plus. And then we sat. I think that meeting held in Tokwe's house.
It was my sitting room. Just a few of us gathered together, and then we talked about what can we do with all the talents we have in-house.
And we had that workshop where ideas flew all over the place.
Then Tokwe Ogundipe came up with the story eventually. And we came up with the story together, and she fleshed it up and came up with something really good.
I wrote the script. I'm a script writer. First of all, I attended the first meeting. I think that was the first meeting where it was discussed what the group wanted to address. That's the 4-5 alumni. And I heard so many things, church issues, family issues. That was basically the inspiration for the story. I wanted to talk about those things that we don't talk about. We don't, husband and wife, they don't talk about it. Church, pastor and congregation, they don't preach it. As far as I can remember, writing has been some sort of, not escape, because it's something I really enjoy doing, both professionally and just for the fun of it. But it's some place where I can really express myself, and I think is a medium that, can really tell those stories that, somehow it's just difficult for us to talk about. So the inspiration was partly the meeting and, just the quest to say things that we don't say, really, with the medium of drama.
I was excited that we had somebody who could birth that kind of script in-house. I have some experience working in the industry since 1990, and I've interfaced with some of the very best of Nigeria in terms of writing and whatever. And I want to say clearly that Tokwe will compete fairly with any writer from anywhere. I was immensely impressed.
When all that was done, then the next thing was, how do we raise funds? But one thing I believe is, if there's a vision, there's going to be a way. God always make provision for anything that is. So we started by, okay, let's make people give whatever they can give. Then that didn't work. That took us like 6 months. Maybe we were able to raise like 300,000 within that time or less than. Then we said, whoever is led to give tithes or what have you, some gave. Then that led us to about 700,000. Then that was August, and we're hoping to meet up a reunion, and reunion is October. So we came up with another idea. Maybe we could pay a particular amount, a number of us. But in the midst of it all, what really encouraged me was the faith in-house.
When I was asked to produce this, I had some very strong reservations, and I had them at 2 levels. The first thing is that I'm used to going into production with everything I need for the production being in place in terms of cash. If the production is going to cost me 2 million, I already have 2 million in the bank to use. But this production was by faith from the beginning to the end. In fact, at some point, I got scared that we might not even be able to meet the bills. But God was always providing. When we think that it's finished, somebody comes in, something comes in, and that really is an experience for me. It's taking production by faith, and for that, I really appreciate all those who God used to make sure that production successfully was done.
Love has a respect for age.
Oh, shut up! I saw his car.
Oh, that, Rumi, is what love is all about these days. Money, power, and good hot sex. Collins has got all of that. His age doesn't bother me. Moreover, he's a club boy.
You mean yahoo yahoo?
I mean influence and respect. Call it whatever you like. There are different ways of getting there. I acted as Tina. Tina is a very wild person. She believes that the end justifies the means, so anything goes for her. She doesn't really care about what's at stake, in as much as she enjoys life. She loves partying, she loves enjoying life to the fullest.
We do not wash our dirty linen in public. We protect this family and the ministry. I played Pastor Tega. Tega was a man who obviously had a calling and was fulfilling the calling, but somewhere along the line, he got caught up in the race to succeed. And he gradually began to set aside the Word of God. And unfortunately, the moment you begin to set aside the Word of God, character goes with it, godliness goes with it, every other thing that makes a man of God goes with it. He was teaching motivation, he was teaching all sorts of things, but not the Word. The church was growing, of course, like people will go to where they're fighting excitement. But because he had no godliness in his life, and because he had compromised righteousness, everything that is of serious value began to crumble around him.
I played Tunde. That was a character I wasn't too familiar with. I didn't really know how to so engulfed with another fellow character in that film, where whatever she did, I was always affected by it. I was always trying to make sure that she was always on this path, or at least on the path that I wanted her to be.
I was Abigail.
I played Frances. I think for me, the most devastating was the fact that she reminded me of your regular wife, one who had devotion towards her home, her husband, her children. For every woman, you feel once you hit that spot where you're married, once you said, I do, you actually want to make a success of your home.
I played the role of Tolu, Sheyi's wife. I see her as a very supportive woman. She's also a pastor in church. Not many words, but very supportive. That's what I'll say about the role.
But Pastor Sheyi, his role was kind of like, one who was still in tune with, what God wanted for their lives, even though he had his own struggles as well. He was able to still play the role of, friend and, someone that could actually talk to seriously to someone who was losing it. It was kind of like one of the very few who could still do that with, with Pastor Tega.
I was Regina, the pastor's daughter. Regina had to be older than she really is. She had to do what her mom was supposed to do, her dad was supposed to do, considering the fact that the home is not all right and all that. So she had to take on responsibilities that she wasn't really ready for. Mommy, please stop running.
What do you mean I'm running?
You can't just get high and escape.
Regina!
Mommy.
You think this is all about me trying to drug myself? You think I'm a junkie?
Mommy.
Go ahead. Come on. Go ahead, read them. Go ahead. They're prescribed, Regina. I need these.
You need to admit this family is going under. That's all you need, Mommy.
In terms of the talents, I don't think there's any one of them I've worked with before. For most of them, that was actually their first production experience.
All my life, it has always been stage drama. This is the very, very first time I've been finding myself on any set, and it was interesting. I got there and I was like, oh, so this is how it is. Really? I used to all this stage drama thing that, okay, if you do this, you can always improvise. Well, yeah, there's no improvise, it's continuity. Everybody say continuity, continuity.
There was one movie that we made, did I say movie? Stage play that we made back in Ife. My sister, she was the main actress then, and I was one of the angels at the background. And so I think choreography was my first, if I can call that acting. They said it went well, so yeah. But this is actually the first time I'll be on set facing the camera.
Well, this is not my first experience in movie making. I've done some stage plays, I've done some movies.
I've ever been on set like this, so I would say this is my first major time on, a movie set.
It's my first in a movie all through and all that, so it's my first experience. Let me say it was interesting because it was self-discovery. There are things that I started learning on the set.
Unlike the situation where when you have a lot of raw talents where you waste time because you keep having to guide them through, that didn't happen here. I was marvelously pleased to discover that a lot of the talents acted well, behaved well too, and watch the film, you see some very fantastic acting there. You won't believe that these people are doing production for the first time. Lola, I'm sorry.
Pastor Tega, this is not our agreement.
I'm sorry.
You cannot lock me up in the toilet because of your 18-year-old.
I'll pay the money to
I
your account.
have a son for you, Pastor Tega.
Then please think of that.
Excuse me?
Please, this is church office.
I don't bloody care.
I do. People outside.
All the main cast are from in-house, and none of them got paid. Everybody gave their talent to God. This first one is a big seed. Director was not paid, producer was not paid. The only people that were paid were the crew, and it's even stipend. It's even stipend because the quality of this film that we delivered, if I could put it on paper, it's way more than 10 million. The kind of inputs that went into this film.
Because we say to ourselves, we're going to do a movie that we're going to have people buy on the sentiment that it was a Christian movie. We're not going to sell a movie that we're going to have to count on people to pick it off the shelf because they know, it's from ECU. No, we like all those sentiments to be there, but beyond that, we wanted the movie to stand up and be counted on its own merit. We wanted a movie that would compete with movies out there. Whether you're a Christian or not, you should be able to sit back and watch that movie and draw your own lessons and enjoy it as a movie experience. And I thank God that we're able to achieve that.
It's a lot of sacrifice on part of the key crew and the cast. So apart from the extras that we gave, maybe transport of 2,000, 1,000, and some other people that, okay, let them just support their transport and all. We didn't really pay artists. Everybody that worked on this set worked for God.
We did a production on the cheap but the quality you get is absolutely not on the cheap.
Because it's very important to me that the script is interpreted, the way that, I imagined, the way I wrote it. I wanted those who were reading it and those who were acting it to really understand it and to be able to depict the story perfectly. I expect something really strong. I expect strong acting because the dialogue is strong, the characters are strong, the director is strong, and so on I expect. So I do really expect that, we have a strong production that we're all proud of.
It was fun. It was very interesting. I learned a lot of things. I learned more importantly that organization is very, very good. And if you just forget little details, it will really tell on the production. But it was very interesting meeting all my senior friends and seeing that the drama spirit is still bubbling in them. It was awesome, really awesome.
Roll cameras.
Scene 46, the Abigail is coming in our continuation, take one. Wide and medium long, take one.
Action, Abigail.
About the striking of the match, I was kind of scared that the thing will burn and cause a lot of fire. I felt happy that the thing wasn't going to burn.
For the scene where I had to slap Tunde, that was my most challenging scene. Funny, ordinarily, before the scene, if they had asked me, I would have thought it's something I would just do easily and just get it over with. But then, when it came to me slapping him, and I was almost slapping him, and I'm actually slapping a human being for real. And
listen, I think it's time we have a frank talk about this once and for all. What are you about?
Cut, go back.
I slapped them 5 times or so before they eventually got the one that they liked.
Actually, she slapped me 5 times. I won't forget. The one that was actually used eventually, in fact, I wasn't acting when she slapped me.
It was very challenging for me until the director told me that if you don't slap him, I'm going to have to slap you. And then I just looked at the director's palm and I'm like, I don't want this slap. And
I am going to my room.
He didn't do anything and I'm just slapping him.
Pick it up before you go up.
I'd rather just slap than get this slap. So he made me do it. And when I slapped him, I saw the pain. He wasn't acting.
Okay, pick up.
Why are you doing this to yourself?
And why are you being melodramatic? I am going to my room.
To do what? Get condom.
Stay within your bounds until the first of it. Stay within your bounds.
Really hot. So whatever it is you saw in that movie, from the moment she slapped me, I wasn't acting.
Even if he was acting all through the film, that scene, Tunde, was real because I saw the pain in his eyes and hey, if not for film, I'm sure I would have done my own backhand. So it was really challenging, but we had to do it. And I'm sorry, Tunde, but I just had to do it.
So after the pain subsided a little bit, then I picked up my acting again.
Water.
Regina! Man Overboard is a Christian film, and definitely there will be different things about it, lots of things about Man Overboard that you would say it's quite different from some secular movies out there. On location, everyone was well behaved. We had a nice experience together. There was no fighting. You would keep your phones, on the table charging. The phones will not disappear, unlike some other secular sets. No one complained. I think that's a major thing. And people had a long way to travel. The location was very far away from, where a lot of us were situated. I think it was a wonderful experience. We all bonded together on location. We had a wonderful time.
It was very challenging. In fact, it was very challenging. At some point, I actually thought, I'll get back on set and the crew would just be like, this girl has come again, just do her thing and let her just go. We went through, myself and my girl. I was a nursing mother, 8 to 5 job, Monday to Friday. Friday evening, I'm back on set again, all through to Sunday, and then I'm back to work on Monday. I did that for like a month or 5 weeks or so. But at the end of the day, there's that feeling that, you know, you've actually achieved something. But I don't think I could have done it without the help of the whole crew and the director.
Let's see, my experiences. It was a difference to the everyday life of 8 to 5, like she has said. Of course, 8 to 5 for some of us in Lagos means 5:30 to 10 o'clock, actually. You know how it works. So I was quite happy when I got, you know, a not so major role, a minor role. You know, because I knew it was going to be very, very difficult for me to, you know, find time to, you know, to do any kind of major role. And I really do not envy the ones that actually went through the major parts of it. So I can assure you, you know, I heard about the 3 a.m., you know, stopping, you know, production 3 a.m. and kicking off again by 6 a.m. So it wasn't really too difficult when you needed tears from some of them, you know, because already they were stressed out. You know how it runs. So it was nice, you know, doing something different, you know, from the everyday, you know, thing that you do.
The working time was not also convenient because you have to work, you know, not work Monday to Friday, and then on Friday you just don't have any free time. Friday you have to get on set, and from Friday to Sunday, sometimes to Monday morning. It wasn't also convenient, and you just have to balance your work that is paying you and work. And you know, it was not also convenient, but well, we scaled through. We scaled through. These are baby steps, so we scaled through.
I think for me, I would say the moment where, or the part where she eventually stands up to her husband. For me, I'm not one given to deviancy, but there are times when you actually have to stand up and speak out.
Are you calling me a fool?
Tega, you are more than a fool. You are the devil. I trusted you with my life. Hopes, dreams, possibilities. Tega, you finished me. Is this life? This is not living. Life full of lies, disease. And I think that's that period, because she had taken a lot. She had taken a lot. I mean, there were times when she was at church and the husband was making eyes with a choir girl. There were times when she had to sit in the car and he just went away with this nice, lovely looking lady.
I was wondering if I could have a word with you in private.
Yeah.
Just a few minutes.
Yeah, sure. Let's get to my office.
Thank you.
And she took it all in, you know. Yeah, she probably voiced one or two things, but he always had something to say. He was hardly ever apologetic. And she took it all in.
How could you? You were in counseling with that lady for 2 solid odd hours.
What's the big deal about 2 hours with you being here all the time?
This is not about me being here all the time. Look at Abigail. She's tired.
Look.
You hardly spend time with your children. 5 minutes you hardly spend with me. Yet you can be in counseling for 2 hours.
Wow, now I know where this is coming from. For God's sake, Francis, you're too old for this. By now you should have outgrown your jealousies and your insecurities.
So for me, I felt, yeah, I mean, there's only a certain amount that any human can take. So at that point where she stood up and said, look, I've had enough. I think for me, that was some strength coming up. Unfortunately, I think it was almost too late. A lot of women take a lot. They take a lot. They take a lot in. And they come out, they smile, they look okay, everything's fine. But at the end of the day, there's a lot happening underneath. The home is on fire. And the woman is the one everyone's looking at. She has to make it seem like it's working. Aside from Major Koye, there was no other person that was brave enough to speak up until Frances stood up. And then everything, seemed to fall into place after the tragedy. So for me, that particular period when she said, you know what, I've had enough. I enjoyed doing that part. I did, because it was like, hey, I've had to bite my tongue a lot of times. There was actually a scene where I begged the director, can I please slap him? Because they're like,
what else do you want me to do for you?
Leave me alone, Tega. Leave me alone. I can't stay here with you anymore. You're evil. Let me take my own children and go to my mom's place.
I knew it. And it was that wicked woman you call your mother.
Watch your tongue, Tega. Watch your tongue. Don't even dare bring my mother into this.
So that's to tell you that naturally she actually took a lot, and I quite that was a high for me.
We're looking for men and women of character, men and women of depth, men and women with a vision, men and women who realize that what they do here counts for eternity, men and women who realizes that they are ensamples put out there by God himself to influence society for good. That is what we're looking for, and that is what we hope to achieve.
This is a big vision for us. It's not just about doing this man overboard. We see ourselves positioned to be a voice in the entertainment industry in Nigeria. We are trusting God to be able to raise stars for Christ, people that will be able to stand and compete professionally with other people, other stars and professionals in the industry. But in addition to being professionals, they also have content. They have spiritual content. The media is on our faces. You open your phone, the first thing you see, it's something that has to do with media. You open your TV, I mean, if it's only news we are seeing on our TV set, I'm sure all of us will have packed it aside now. So the media is on our faces, and the devil knows it. The devil is not careless about it. He's using it very well. He knows it's a powerful tool. But it's sad to me that we Christians, we're folding our arms and we are doing nothing. We have a strong message to preach the word. When the people that are preaching pornography, lesbianism, and all the bad things that we feel we don't want our children exposed to, are preaching it, or let's say they're spreading it to passion, putting all their funds into it, putting all their resources into it, and it's widespread, it's viral all over the world. They know what they are doing. We that we have a stronger message, the message of hope, of love, of life, of eternity, to spread without stress, we are still folding our hands. We're not doing anything about it. I mean, what made me come out of my comfort zone is, how long are we going to fold our hands and put blames on people? We keep pointing fingers, they're not doing it right. This is not good. Look at that. Look at this. But we are not doing anything. I think it's time we get up and do something. Beyond just talking about it, taking action. We've done this, it's been very sacrificial. We charged ourselves, we levied ourselves. Some people even put in their tithes, those that were convinced to do. Some people put it as offering. Some people just donated what they could. I mean, it's been very sacrificial, and I think we should just do more.
The vision initially is to do a minimum of 4 films a year. That comes to 1 film every quarter. We're hoping that by the time we meet in Ife at the reunion, we'll be able to sit down with other brethren from across the world, as many as are coming together at the reunion, to be able to fine-tune how we can achieve that. It's not rocket science. All we need to say to ourselves, we're going to be shooting every last month of every quarter, or every second month of every quarter. So those who are outside these shores, who want to be part of the production, know how to plan their time. For instance, if you say we're shooting second month of every quarter, it means we do February, it means we do May, it means we do August, it means we do, what's it called? It means we do November. So if you have that kind of a general understanding of what the timelines are in the broad sense of the word, then you can plan. If you're really interested, okay, I want to take my leave to coincide with that period for the second quarter, or to coincide with the period for the third quarter. As I speak to you, I'm glad to say I have a script. Somebody mailed a script to me few days back, and it's a script we could do if you want to do it. But hey, let's leave all of that. One thing is sure, this is only the beginning. It's nowhere near the end.
Want to raise role models, want to raise stars, people that can stand, professional people, not just, oh, it's a Christian, so I don't want to be part of that. Yes, we are Christians, but what should be more sweeter, if not the message of Christ? What should be well packaged, if not the message of the gospel? And that is the call, that is the challenge, and that is what we are calling everybody to be part of. Thank you.